Everything regarding Fiona Harvey over the past few weeks has gone incredibly quiet after she has announced that she will be taking legal action against Netflix and the creators of the hit show Baby Reindeer. And that is incredibly unsurprising because anything in this point that she goes on to say would be used against her or for her, but of course, you don't want to trip over and mince your words, which is exactly why the likes of Richard Gadd have also stayed quiet on the situation. So with that, it means we've really got nowhere to go with it. We don't know what's going to happen until the trial. We don't know when the trial is even going to be. All we know is that it is supposedly coming, and I think the figure that Fiona Harvey is suing for is around $11 million. So it's a big sum of money that she's going for, and nobody wants to speak about it. But I think it was yesterday or the day before at the time of recording, there was the Gotham TV Awards, which Baby Reindeer was nominated for an award for the Best Breakout Limited Series. And some of the participants and the cast spoke to the press and stuff, and, you know, talked about Baby Reindeer and the impact that it's had on social media and it's had kind of on pop culture, but also they were asked about that explosive Fiona Harvey interview from Piers Morgan, and it was asked to Nava Mau, who of course played Terry in the show, and she was asked about it just to kind of get her thoughts and opinions. We're going to take a little look at that because the answer is interesting. Let's just take a little listen.
We decided not to watch it, so we didn't.
Baby Reindeer star Nava Mau revealing the cast chose not to watch the, quote, real-life Martha's controversial interview.
I'm not a stalker, I've not been to jail. This is just complete nonsense.
The Netflix drama tells a fictionalized story of creator Richard Gadd's experience being stalked by a woman named Martha.
My little reindeer.
And with the show's popularity, internet sleuths begin searching for the real people behind the characters. In May, Fiona Harvey sat down with Piers Morgan to tell her side of the story after fans claimed Martha was based on her.
They're saying that. It's absolutely not correct.
Now, obviously, this is really interesting because the question is still there. Fiona Harvey came forward in this interview. People are saying, obviously, to her, you know, you are Martha. You're the real life Martha from this show. And she says, that's incorrect. I'm not Martha. But then goes on in the interview to talk about how she was defamed and, you know, how she was basically butchered by Netflix, even though she's already claimed that that wasn't actually her. So I'm still so confused about it because, you know, she says, we heard it there. That's not me. I'm not her. But then says that it is her. I'm still lost on that part. I'm still really lost.
But Richard has yet to confirm whether Fiona was actually the inspiration behind the character.
Martha, please let go.
Don't you dare!
Nava reunited with her co-stars on the red carpet at the Gotham TV Awards, where the show was nominated for Breakthrough Limited Series.
I just keep going back to when we were working on it almost 2 years ago at this point, and it was just this small little thing that it was me and Richard and Jess and the rest of the cast and crew, and for me it still is that, and so it's such a gift now that the rest of the world gets to share in that. I kept saying to Richard, whoever is meant to see the show is gonna see the show, and so I think it seems like a lot of people were meant to see the show.
Now, obviously, she means that in a broad brush sense, but of course, my mind goes to whoever was meant to see the show will see the show. So my mind goes straight to Fiona Harvey, if she is who was portrayed as Martha. But it's interesting that she came forward almost instantly after it.
I am so grateful for the conversations that it has started. People are engaging in the topics that are, you know, they're kind of difficult topics. We're talking about abuse, we're talking about trauma, we're talking about shame, and it's beautiful to see so many people engaging in that conversation in their own language with their own people, and it's a blessing.
As for her character's inspiration,
I felt very lucky to receive this character that was so beautifully written, and I got to play the Terry that comes from the script. and was crafted in collaboration with so many people. The costume designer, the hair makeup team, our 2 directors, Josephine and Veronica, Richard, of course, my acting coach, you know, we all came together and put our own little pieces into Terry, and that is who I think is on screen.
In May, Nava told GQ she filmed a scene for the finale that didn't make it to the final cut, revealing in the original script, Terry leaves Donnie a voicemail 5 months after they parted ways.
You know, there's always more in the script that ends up getting cut just because of time or the way that the story's working in the edit, but I think I felt Richard's intention deeply to give Terry a happy ending, and I think that we did that. I felt that kind of closure when we were filming, that it was very difficult, I think, for Terry to end the relationship when she did, but ultimately she knew that it was best for her and best for both of them, and so I think that kind of shows in the way it ends for her. Thank you.
Now, of course, she did state at the start that she hadn't seen the interview, nor did any of the cast. I find it hard to believe. I'm not saying that she's lying, but what I do say is I find it really difficult that someone like Richard Gadd, who has kind of portrayed this, obviously there's all of this stuff hanging over legally. I find it hard to believe that he, of all people, wouldn't have seen it, because I think there's like that inkling of what she said, how has she changed, potentially. Is she who she claims? I think at this point, if she wasn't the inspiration, we probably would have been told. He would have just completely put that to bed, but it's very, very interesting. But of course, the show had a profound effect on millions of people that watched it, and it was an opportunity for people to speak about their own experiences. And one person who I definitely didn't expect to come forward, but did, was Miranda Cosgrove. Now, Miranda Cosgrove obviously is a child actor for Nickelodeon. I think she was on the show iCarly. But she shares her own disturbing baby reindeer stalking incident with E.T. So, iCarly star Miranda Cosgrove recalled her traumatic experience with a stalker in 2016, and she's reflecting on her traumatic experience that rivals Netflix's hit limited series Baby Reindeer. In the cover of the interview Bustle, Cosgrove recalls a 2016 incident in which a man who had been stalking her lit himself on fire and fatally shot himself in the front yard of her LA home. And he had previously shot a woman who looked like Cosgrove as she drove by the property. Cosgrove, who was 23 years old at the time, wasn't home during either incident, but still lives at the house to this day. She said, quote, "That's another reason why I go back and forth to my parents' house so much," she tells Bustle. "I just don't feel super safe in that house. For 2 years it happened. I wouldn't really stay there. Then I got into a relationship, and because the person that was with me there, I was less scared, but I don't really like being there on my own that much." She confesses that she's on the hunt for a place where she can feel really safe to kind of start a new chapter, but reveals that she hasn't found it yet. Considering the eerie similarities between her experiences and Richard Gadd's highly acclaimed Netflix hit, it's no surprise that Cosgrove has seen the series Baby Reindeer Chronicles, the Scottish comedian's experience with a woman, Martha Scott, who becomes obsessed with him after meeting him in a bar where he worked. In the show, Martha sends Donnie around 41,000 emails, 744 tweets, and 350 hours worth of voicemails over 6 years. And then it kind of goes on to talk about the experiences, but it's very interesting. First of all, obviously the first part of the video being knowing that the cast didn't watch it, but I find it so hard to believe that they wouldn't. I mean, if I was in Richard Gadd's position, I don't think I could have not watched it. But also knowing the kind of person that he was, based off of his portrayal as Donnie, I think he might have let that go, but there was that element of, you know, obsession towards her as well, which might play into it. Now, I can't say that for certain, obviously, because I'm I don't know. But also, just to know that it had such a profound effect on not just, just, let's call them ordinary people, but also these Hollywood stars who also had their own experiences, and they almost found a level of comfort within the show to kind of speak about their experiences. But what do you think of this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you're new, and tick on my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. Until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.